Exercise number 5, we're going to learn how to assign our previously created superelevation to our corridor and also review our cross sections to ensure that the superelevation has been applied correctly to the corridor. So I'm in my superelevation DGN file where we had created our superelevation in the previous exercise, and now I want to open up my corridor DGN file so that I can assign my superelevation to my corridor. So I'm going to go over to the File tab, go to Select My Corridor from the list of recently opened files. And our corridor is displayed once again, our 2D and 3D views. So in order to assign the superelevation to the corridor, I need to attach it as a reference file. So to attach it, I go to Home, the Attach Tools, References, and we're going to go up to Tools, Attach, and we're going to locate our superelevation for London Road and set the attachment method to Quinsent World and click Open to attach our superelevation to our corridor. Okay, so the DGN file's been attached. You may notice you're not really seeing the filled shapes like we had in the superelevation DGN. If you need to see those, we could go up into the View Attributes here and toggle on the Fill option under the View Attributes in order to see the lanes filled in. Okay, to assign the superelevation to the corridor, we need to go up to the Corridors tab and go over to Calculate and then go to Assign to Corridor. It's going to be prompting us to locate our first superelevation section. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and select my superelevation section. I'm going to right click to complete. Then it's going to ask us to locate our corridor. So I'm going to zoom in a little closer so I can select my corridor object boundaries by selecting one of the grab handles. And then from here it's going to bring up our dialog that's showing us the superelevation objects and the superelevation pivot points. This dialog shows the two template points that define each superelevation lane and which of those points the lane pivots about. So that's what this whole middle section here is, and it shows us the starting and stopping stations. I'm going to click OK to complete the process. That's going to go through and assign the superelevation to our corridor. Now that the superelevation has been assigned to the corridor, we need to be able to review it. How do we know that it has been indeed created and created properly? So to do that, we are going to review the cross sections. To review the cross sections, we're going to go up to the Dynamic Sections tool and open a cross section view. We may already have one previously defined if you've been working through this exercise from the beginning, but I'm going to go and create another one again just in case that one did not save. So I'm going to come over here and select my corridor boundary to locate the corridor. I'll go and open up View 7 to define my cross-sectional view. Left click to accept it. And my cross-section view should show up now. One thing to note is when you assign superelevation to a corridor, it creates additional point controls. So you may notice some additional magenta boxes that appear on your cross-section, and that just indicates that there has been superelevation or superelevation point control assigned to your corridor. So if we want to review our cross sections, we can go up to our cross section navigator buttons here and scroll through the sections, navigate through the sections to take a look at our cross section and make sure that it is rotating the pavement properly according to the superelevation that we defined. So I'm just going to go up here to the right arrow and click through some sections here until we see the cross section and the pavement start rotating. So you can see here we're in the full super area. And also notice in the plan view how the blue line is tracking along our corridor and our alignment as well as in 3D. If you need to review a specific station cross section along the corridor, I could simply come up here, enter a new value in the key in field. So if I want to go to say 56 plus 40, I can key that in and press enter on the keyboard and it'll take me to 56 plus 40. Alternatively, we can also right click in our cross-sectional view and go to locate station via data point, and we can left click in our view 1 window over here, and notice we can track along our alignment and key in a specific station as well. As you can see, the cross sections are now super elevated, but how do you know what the cross slopes are? To display and review the cross slopes, we'll use the Place Temporary Dimension Line tool to check the cross slopes on the cross sections. To do that, we're going to hold our right mouse button down and go over to the Place Temporary Dimension Line tool. This allows us to place some temporary dimensions on our cross sections. So for our start point, I'm going to pick our center point here. For our end point, I'm going to pick the right edge of pavement point. For the height, I'm just going to put my cursor up here, somewhere above the section. And notice it displays the width of the pavement as well as the cross slope. If I want to do that for the left-hand side, I would do the same thing. I would start at the center point, come over to the left edge of pavement, and then select a height. And it will display the width and the cross slope between those 2 points. So that's just another way that you can check the cross slopes on the cross section. And if you continue navigating through the cross sections, you'll notice that the temporary dimension lines will stay in place, and the cross slopes will be adjusting themselves and changing dynamically as you scroll through your cross sections. And once you're done reviewing your cross sections, to remove the temporary dimension lines from your sections, just right click in the cross section view, hold your mouse button down, right click, and then select remove all temporary dimensions, and then they will disappear from your cross section. And one more thing before we complete this exercise. If you need to review the Superelevation point controls that were created, we could go and use the Corridor Objects tool again to review those. So come up to the Corridor Objects tool and select our corridor. And if we go over to our point controls category, you'll see our Superelevation point controls that were created and assigned to our corridor.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.